Hello and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Dr. Jennifer Shaw, and I am super excited to be here with you as always. I have been pondering on this topic for a couple of days now, and I'm really excited to dive in with you. Today, we're going to talk about the idea of persisting until you succeed. What does that mean? How do you make that happen? What are some of my tricks that I have up my sleeve? So before we do dive in, let me just say thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. It means so much to me. I love reading your reviews, hearing what you guys have to say about the podcast. We'll definitely share a review towards the end of the show. If you haven't connected with me over on Instagram, it's Natural Wellness Tips on Instagram. Come say hello. Leave a review here. Make sure you subscribe on the channel you are listening to, whether that be YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Make sure you subscribe so you know each week when I drop a new podcast episode. I have some amazing interviews in the lineup for you guys and just some amazing shows coming up. So even one of them is going to be a exclusive interview with me and my partner, Owen. So make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned for all of that. And if you guys haven't checked out the No BS Wellness membership yet, it is a monthly membership where we focus on one healthy habit a month. February, we are focusing on healthy eating, or March, we're in March. And each month we change that habit and we dive into a new healthy habit. We have live Q&As, live virtual yoga classes, new moon circles, everything in that membership. And it's only $22.22 a month right now. So make sure you hop on in there. We are growing and expanding, and it is so much fun getting to know all of the girls and everybody in there. So I hope that you come over and join us. You can find the link down below. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on IG at Natural Wellness Tips. But let's dive in. So we are talking about this idea of persist until you succeed. So towards the end of 2020, my partner Owen and I were listening to a podcast that Matthew McConaughey was on. And he was talking about how happening upon the greatest salesman in the world at a friend's apartment, this is a book by Og Mandino, was a pivotal moment that changed his life. He discussed how for 10 months he was consistent about reading the 10 scrolls, as the book explains to do, and how this book really helped him gain the confidence to chase his dreams, to leave law school, to attend film school. And I'm assuming you guys know who Matthew McConaughey is, and you don't need me to explain the rest of the story to you. He's an extremely successful actor, and he doesn't quite fit the mold of Hollywood crowd, right? He beats to his own drum. He's created his own life, his own way of doing things, and the life of his dreams, really. If you guys haven't checked out his new book, Greenlight, it's definitely worth a read. It is an awesome book. But that kind of started a conversation between me and my partner. We love to read books together and have conversations about them and dive deeper, right? More than just the reading. So as Owen and I listened, we really thought about reading the scrolls together this year, but we were like 3 times a day. That's a big commitment. Really, we were hesitant but excited, and neither of us really like to go with the flow. We like to carve our own path, go against the grain. That's what they say, right? So we decided that if it worked for Matthew McConaughey, hey, let's give it a try. So we decided to go for it. And we started reading the scrolls the second week of January, and we just moved to the scroll number 3. And the message in the scroll was timed so well for me. As usual, when things are timed well for me and I share them, I hear from you guys that it's exactly what you needed to hear. So I was called to come on and have this conversation with you. So here we go. I will persist until I succeed. Often in life, we set goals, we get excited, we create plans, and then life happens. We fall out of routine, we lose momentum. Even worse, we feel like we've been trying and we're just not making any progress. That old saying of, plant seeds and they'll bloom later, right? It's like, oh, I'm sick of planting seeds. I've been planting seeds forever, right? And sometimes you just get to this point where you feel like nothing's going to happen and you want to quit, right? And that's where this comes in. I will persist until I succeed. Have you experienced it in life before? You're doing, that just enough to not slip back. but you can't seem to make forward momentum. I know I've experienced it. I know I still experience it, right? You're like, when is that break going to happen? When am I going to reach this goal? I've been talking about this goal for years. What is going to have to happen to make that change? Right? What makes me keep putting one foot in front of the other? What makes me keep waking up every day with this passion in my heart and soul to reach my goals? What does it mean to truly persist until you succeed? Right? What does it mean to put in the blood, sweat, and tears when no one even sees what you're doing? You're not reaping the rewards when you're not even seeing the rewards of the hard work you're putting in, right? This quote is out of the third scroll. The prizes of life are at the end of each journey, not near the beginning. And it is not given to me to know how many steps are necessary in order to reach my goal. Failure I may still encounter at the 1,000th step, yet success hides behind the next bend in the road. Never will I know how close it lies unless I turn the corner. I will persist until I succeed. I really think that's an important thing to talk about, right? It's like when we set goals, like we don't know when they're going to happen. We can set timelines, we can have action plans, we can have everything mapped out. But life happens and we don't quite know when everything's going to run the way that we're hoping it does. We're not quite sure when all the pieces are going to fall into place, right? But when we half-heartedly want something, we're not going to persist, right? We're going to quit. We'll walk away. We'll walk away when things get hard. We'll walk away when things aren't fun anymore. But let's be real. Everything worth it is hard. Staying in shape is hard. Keeping relationships in a healthy standpoint is hard. Right? Building businesses, they can be hard. They can also be amazing. All of this can be amazing. Without the peaks, we don't have the valleys. Without the valleys, we don't have the peaks. We need both, right? So I always like to talk about goals in three main areas: health, wealth, and relationships, right? Those are the three areas that I always talk about them. So let's talk about this idea in relationships, right? So take my relationship with Owen. It's not always easy. We have past traumas that come up. They need to be healed. They need to be discussed. We get triggered. We have to have hard conversations. But we have our eyes on the prize. We have our eyes on our future with our feet in the present. We know that if we are going to, which we know we are, create the future of our dreams, we need to remain fully present and fully willing to show up in the here and now. In this moment, we are willing to do whatever work it takes to get to the goals that we have. Right? We always say we are living our dream life while working towards creating our dream. We know what we're working towards. We have a very clear picture of what we're working towards. We've talked about what we want in all areas of life. Where do we want to live? What does that look like? Children, marriage, work, business, social circles. We've talked about all of this because we know with such clarity where we're going. Therefore, we're willing and more than able to keep showing up because we have clarity, right? So do you know the ultimate goal in your relationships? And this isn't just intimate relationships, right? This is family relationships. This is friendships. This is business relationships. What are you seeking to get out of those relationships? Is it fulfillment and joy? Is it because someone lifts you up? Is it because someone's going to call you on your shit when you're not doing what you're supposed to do? Like, what are you getting out of relationships? Why do you keep showing up for them? And I think it's something to ask us in relationships too. And we've talked a lot about this in the podcast. It's like, are you the only one showing up for the relationship? So when I say that, is like, are you showing up 100% for a relationship, but the other person showing up 25%? Well, then you need to maybe reevaluate how much you're showing up for that relationship, because there's going to be a point where you're going to want to quit because your balance isn't being matched, right? So thinking about those things. But knowing what you're wanting out of relationships, all relationships, is so important. You don't just go into a business relationship and say like, yeah, let's just see where this goes. Like, no, you're putting time and money and energy and care into something. You need to have a clear map of where things are going. And I think that's where intimate relationships have failed for me in the past. Is it was, well, let's just see where this goes. And when you're with someone that's the right person, you're able to say, where do we want this to go? What are we willing to work for? What are we willing to persist for? And that's important, right? So let's talk about our health. If you're working out because someone told you you should, do you really think you're going to keep doing that when you're tired, when you're sore, when you're stressed? If you're working out just because you know that's like what you're supposed to do, but there's no other reason, are you going to keep going? My answer is hell no. You're going to stop. And you probably have. Can you relate to that? Can you think about a time when you're like, I am going to get healthy, but you didn't have any clarity really around why, and you stopped? You have to have your eyes on the prize. And that prize is different for every single person. For some, it's a number on the scale. For others, the scale's their worst enemy. Others, it's blood test results. You needed to, or you wanted to improve your blood test results, right? Cholesterol was high. Blood pressure was high. Blood sugars were high, right? Maybe you want to change that. Maybe you have an outfit that you love that you want to fit back into. Maybe you want to keep up with your kids. You know, there's no right or wrong reason here, but there has to be a reason or you will not persist. For me, my fitness, my workouts, everything's focused on helping me remain pain-free. Help to keep my back, my core strong. Those are absolutely essential for me not living in severe daily pain. There's few keys to managing my insane back injuries and spinal cord injuries. It comes down to my essential oils, my lifestyle, my fitness, right? I have to get 8 hours of sleep or more. I have to use my supplements and essential oils on a regular basis. I have to keep my body strong. I have to keep an anti-inflammatory diet. I have to do these things. I have to remain low stress. Like, they are so key for me staying out of pain. So you understand here where my resolve to persist in working out is so huge. I have such clarity on why I do this. Sure, I also like to look really fit and I like to feel good in my clothes and the six pack doesn't hurt. I like to strive to those. Great. But those aren't what's going to keep me showing up for my workouts every single day. Working towards my pain-free life is what makes me show up every single day on that yoga mat. Right? So what is the reason for you that you want to remain healthy? What's your pull? What's your drive? What's going to keep you persisting to succeed? So we talk about business, right? So we have like health, we have our relationships. Now we need to talk about wealth. Whether it's working towards a promotion, trying to get a new job, trying to finish school, building a business, wanting more than the status quo, wanting more than what you have right now. It's not easy stuff. I remember when I was leaving my job as a physical therapist and people were looking at me and they're like, wasn't this good enough? Aren't you happy here? And that was just nothing's ever really enough for me because I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And not better than anybody else, better than myself. I want to be a better version of myself. I've always heard the saying, you make me better. And I don't think it's that anybody can make us better. I think it's that if we surround ourselves with people that make us want to be better, that's the key. That's the key. Surround yourself with people who make you want to be better, right? And then they won't question you as you're asking for more, right? But wanting more in business, in life, in your career, while maintaining balance in your relationships and your health, right? It's not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of work. How you do one thing is how you do everything. You've got to show up in all areas, and you've got to put attention into all of these areas each and every day. So you have to have a strong reason. For me, it's really simple. I've been through some really, really hard shit. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about chronic pain. I've learned a lot about the Western medical system, how it works, how it doesn't. Learned a lot about relationships, communication, high conflict personality disorders, emotional abuse, codependency, alcohol abuse, sobriety, fitness, yoga, freaking handstands, you name it. I've learned a lot. I've been through a lot and I've learned a lot, right? And I've grown a lot. And a lot of that time I felt very, very alone. I could have been around hundreds of people, standing on stage in front of thousands of people. And much of that time I felt very alone. I never want anyone else to feel that alone. I want people to know that someone understands them. Someone's been there before. Someone's been through it. Someone survived it. Someone's not going to judge them for being in a relationship with an abusive spouse. Someone's not going to judge them for staying in that relationship till they're ready to leave. Someone's not going to judge them for listening to their doctors for a time frame until they decide that they are the ones that can control and change their health. That's the person I want to be. And if I can change one person's life with my video blog or a podcast or a social media post or a conversation, then I'm doing my job. And, you know, so many different ways it's said, but the idea of if you do each day what you're passionate about and make a difference, the money will follow, right? Thankfully, I found a way. I'm really grateful that I make a living and pay the bills through what I get to do. But honestly, I would do it even if it wasn't there. Because the drive for me to help and to grow and to impact this world is what drives me to build my business. So what is your why? What is your why? And it could be financial. I have financial ones too. I want to get out of college debt from my doctor of physical therapy that I don't use other than in the sense that knowledge and effort of getting a doctorate has molded who I am, right? But I don't practice physical therapy on a day-to-day basis, right? But I will use my business that I'm growing and changing lives with to eliminate that college debt, right? So there's financial pulls too, but that's not the big one that like pulls me out of bed each day, right? But I bet you're getting the point now. And I bet you you can see this, that you have to know why you're doing something with all of your heart in order to persist till you succeed. You have to have a stubbornness about why you are doing that so that when you get knocked down, not if you get knocked down, but when you get knocked down, you have a strong enough reason to get back up. Have you ever seen that picture of a man, he's mining for gold and he's in this mine and he's got a little like pitchfork or like little, whatever, it's like an axey thing. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to like finish the podcast and hit stop and I'm going to remember the name of what it's called. But anyway, he's like beaten at the wall of this tunnel and he's mining for gold. And they show him in this graphic kind of with that over his back and walking away. And he's 1 foot away from the gold. And then the guy under him is hacking away and keeps going. He persists. And he finds gold. So if the guy on the top had just told himself that he wasn't going to quit until he succeeded, he would have found gold. but his why wasn't strong enough. He didn't persist. And he failed, not because gold wasn't there, not because he didn't work hard, but because he let quitting be an option. I was in severe chronic pain for 5.5 years. And in that 5.5 years, I never stopped looking for the next thing that could potentially help me decrease my pain. 5.5 years until I got all the puzzle pieces in order. But I was never going to quit. It was not an option for me. 5.5 years. Can you imagine that? Guys, and I'm not talking like my back hurts every day. I'm talking a 4 out of 10 pain every morning when I woke up, and a 7 to 9 out of 10 pain every single night when I went to bed. I'm talking severe pain. I'm talking, could I cook dinner or do laundry? Because I couldn't do both. But I wouldn't quit. I knew there was a better way. I knew there was a way out. I knew I could feel better. And I chose to never quit. So I want you to ask yourself, what goals do you have that you really want to reach? I mean, really want to reach. Start with one. Look in those 3 areas: health, wealth, and relationships. And pick one to start with. You know how I like to compound things. Maybe this month you focus on your goal in health, and then next month it's in wealth, and then the next month it's in relationships. You have to do all 3. You have to do all 3. Because you don't want to be the fit, rich person that has no healthy relationships. You don't want to be the fit person with healthy relationships that has no money to enjoy life. You need to do all 3. And if you're the kind of person that can show up and just do all 3 at once, then great, do all 3. But if you need to do one at a time and layer them on till you can get steady and consistent with them, do that. But ask yourself, what goal do you have that you really want to reach? Then you have to ask yourself, why is it important to you? And you need to dig. You need to ask yourself that question a dozen times. Why do I want to get healthy? Why do I want to get healthy? Why is that important to me? Why is that, you want to get healthy because you want to look fit? Cool. Why is that important to you? You want to look fit because you know that you're going to feel better when you're fit? Well, why is that important to you? You want to be able to keep up with your kids or your grandkids? Well, why is that important to you? Why? Dig deep. Ask yourself, why? This is what I do with my clients. I'm not going to take their first answer of why. That's not a good enough answer. You got to dig deep. Are you ready to persist with this goal until you succeed? And if the answer is no, you didn't dig deep enough. You don't have a strong enough why. You don't have a strong enough reason pulling you in that direction. You need to have a strong why. So once you have that, if you're stuck, just message me on IG, say hello. Take a look at it, think about it. And if you're stuck, message me, I'll help you. So how do you keep yourself motivated? I use a lot of different things. I have affirmations that I read every day. They're kind of taped all over my house. I have a vision board that helps keep my eyes on the prize. And I have on there health, wealth, and relationship goals. I surround myself with people who cheer me on and believe in me. The people that get time for me are the ones that believe that my goals are attainable, that believe that I can do them. So who's in your core 5? Are those people asking you what you want out of life? Are they helping you reach your goals? Are they asking you the hard conversations? Are they supporting you? Are they believing in you? Those are the people you need to be around. And my essential oils. Guys, you know my essential oils obviously help, right? I have a few favorites I turn to when I'm stuck, wanting to quit, needing motivation. One of my favorites is wild orange. It's inspires abundance, creativity, positive mood, brings fun, joy to the situation. When you're feeling stuck, this bad boy is good. It lifts you up. Litsi is actually a limited time oil. You can't buy this all the time in the US, but this is one of my favorites because this oil helps you follow through on your goals and inspirations. It helps you tune into your intuition. It's a good one. It's a good one, guys. And then I have cypress that I'll do this a lot of times in the bath when I'm feeling stagnant or stuck. It's the oil of movement and flow. It gets things moving. It can help you get that creative juice flowing. It can help you when you're working on your why and things like that. And then we have ginger, which is the oil. This oil has purpose and it will fulfill it. So if you're feeling stuck and you start diffusing ginger or using ginger, guys, you're going to get moving. You're going to get moving and you better just buckle up and be ready to go. Obviously, when I talk about oils, guys, I'm always talking about doTERRA. It's the only oils I trust because of the purity, right? Potency, the testing, all of that. So those are some of my favorites when I'm feeling stuck. So go get clear. Don't give up. Tell someone who believes in you what you're chasing, right? If you don't have someone, like I said, message me. I think it's so important that you have somebody that does believe in you, that gives you permission to chase your dreams, that gives you permission to make things happen, right? Like I really do think it's so important to have that person that's cheering you on. That's what the No BS Wellness community is for. That's what I'm for. I give you permission. I give you permission to dream. I give you permission to go after what you want. You deserve it. And if you persist until you succeed, you can have anything you like and you want in life, right? Anything. So I want to close the podcast with a review from Wendy. She said, super informative, upbeat. We all need more natural wellness in our lives and how to tap into the natural ways to support our health and wellness. Thank you, Wendy. It is so great to hear from you. I love hearing from you guys with your reviews. You can head over to iTunes and leave a review. You can leave a comment on YouTube. And just let me know what you guys think, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear more of on the podcast. It's such an honor to show up and to be here with you guys and to help share my passion. And hopefully this message resonated with you because it really has been resonating with me as I dove into it over the last couple of days as we've been reading this third scroll. So as always, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you head over, say hi on Instagram, check out the membership. I'd love to see you guys in there, and we'll see you guys next week on the podcast. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.